So good Thursday afternoon, everyone. Welcome to lecture 6, Mathematics for Construction. What were we doing last week? We started talking about difference of two squares, okay? The idea is they will give you two squares here as a difference, and you should be able to factorize it as a product of two brackets. We did some examples here. If I give you something like y squared minus 9, okay, that is the difference of two squares. 9 is the square of 3. So in the formula here, A is y and B is 3. So it's kind of like a formula, right? We could use this to do more interesting problems later on, right? Let me see here, lecture 6. I could just rephrase, like repeat this for you guys. And this could be our lecture problems here, example 1 and example 2. So it's example 1. This is example 2, okay? So what would you do with example 3 here, okay? Is example 3, if you treat it as a difference of two squares, what would be A and B? There's the summary formula here. What would be A and B? And then what would be the product of the two brackets? What would the two brackets look like, right? Try this now. Okay, with this problem here, we need to understand that the first term is A squared and the second term is B squared, all right? If the first term is A squared, then what is A? A is the square root of 4p squared. Now the square root of a term is the square root of each number and letter multiplied. So the square root of 4 is 2 and the square root of p squared is p. So I have 2p, a minus and a 2p plus, okay? What's the square root of 9q squared? Okay, square root of 9 is 3. And the square root of q squared is q. It's basically that simple, right? What we want to do is we want to reach the problems where we don't need to expand brackets, okay? So for example, I can have a bracket here, and I could have a bracket here. So I could put something like x plus 2, and this could be x minus 3, okay? Now, if I ask you to simplify this, what would you do? Most people, you know, the default thing is to, well, expand everything, collect together like terms and simplify. That's what we was doing in the previous lecture, like up here, right? We would expand and collect like terms and simplify, okay? But if you can recognize the difference of two squares is actually easier. Okay, this is A squared and this is B squared. So A is x plus 2 and B is x minus 3. So I could write this as a product of two brackets. What is A? A is x plus 2. So I write x plus 2. And what is B? B is x minus 3. So I could add you know, x minus 3, and I could subtract x minus 3, okay? Probably need to put out on a separate line for you to see. Okay. This is the stuff in brackets is A, this stuff is in B. So this is A plus B and this is A minus B. What would I end up getting though? I would get, this is 2x here. And 2 minus 3 is minus 1. Okay, the x plus x is 2x and 2 minus 3 is minus 1. Here now, this is x minus x. I see x's cancel here. So I'm not going to get any x's down here. And I will get 2 minus 1 minus is a plus. So that's 2 plus 3. This is 5. Okay, so I could write this as 5 into 2x minus 1. And this is a lot less working than expanding it out. If you expand this out, collect like terms together and simplify, there's a lot more working, right? So try this one here. I'll give you like 2 to do. Just to practice the technique, right? Right, so try these problems here, not by expanding and collecting like terms, by recognizing the difference of 2 squares and thereby the answer is a product of 2 brackets. Okay. So how you would do this? I know this is the difference of 2 squares. So the difference of 2 squares is the product of 2 brackets. I will have a plus sign here and I'll have a minus sign here. I have something plus something and I have something minus something. Okay, that's the format of my answer. What is the first thing, right? The first bracket, this first question mark here, this is whatever A is. A is the first thing
x minus 4
being squared, x minus 4, right? So let me put brackets around that here and here. Remember, you're substituting A in 2 places, right? It says x minus 4 and x minus 4, right? The next guy, which is in square brackets, is B. B is the other bracket. So that's x minus 5, right? So x minus 5, x minus 5. Good. And then, you know, you're going to have 2 brackets being multiplied. So I could remove the brackets here. This is x minus 4 plus x minus 5. And this is x minus 4 minus x plus 5. Okay. That's because when you remove the minus sign, this minus affects everything in here. So minus by a plus sign in front of x as minus x, and minus by a minus by the 5 is a plus 5. I could collect like terms together. This is right. So collecting like terms together, x plus x is 2x. Right, this is minus 9. 2x minus 9 as the first one. The second one, the x's cancel. Minus 4 plus 5, that's 1, right? And then, we just write the answer as 2x minus 9. Okay? So that's that there. That's how I get that answer. Let's go over example 5, okay? I need to compare this as a squared minus b squared. Okay, if I compare what I'm given to what I need to recognize, I need to recognize a squared minus b squared. What is a? What you think a is? I'm seeing x minus 4 squared and I'm seeing a squared. So then a is the stuff in brackets, okay? X minus 4. Similarly, b, I have a minus sign between them. What is b? I have something squared here and I have b squared. So obviously x minus 5 is b, right? I know a squared minus b squared is equal to 2 brackets. Okay, I know is equal to the product of 2 brackets. The difference of 2 squares is equal to the product of 2 brackets. See, summary formula here. Okay, it's the product of 2 brackets. And this is not magic. This formula is not magic. This came from expanding 2 brackets. A plus b by a minus b is this. So I just rewrite it in a reverse direction. So it's not a magical formula. It makes sense, right? So if I know what a and b is, right? I could say this is equal to that where a equals x minus 4. And b equals x minus 5. So this first line is equal to a squared minus b squared, where a is x minus 4 and b equals x minus 5. But I know a squared minus b squared is equal to a minus b by a plus b. So what I did, I have sorry, I'm gonna write it. I mean, it don't matter. Okay. I know a squared minus b squared is this here, a plus b by a minus b. So what I did, I substitute for a and b into this formula here. So this in the a here, the x minus 4, and the b here, x minus 5, right? X minus 5 is b, x minus 4 is a. And here as well as a minus b, this is the a minus the b, okay? Then I remove the square brackets and rearrange. Okay, so the next step is I remove the brackets. So I get x minus 4 plus x minus 5. That's in the first bracket. But this one here, when I remove the square brackets, this negative sign must be multiplied by the x and the 5. That's why I get negative x and plus 5. That's how BODMAS works. There's a 1 in front of this. We went over this last week. Okay, so when I remove the brackets, I get these 4 terms here. Now how do I get x plus x? Where did this 2x come from? Isn't there x, a minus 4, and an x? I just rearrange the terms. I just say x plus x here, and a minus 4 and a minus 5 here. Okay? Similarly, the x and a minus x, you see them here. I rearrange them, I collect like terms together. This is what we did last week. Last week we collect like terms together. So I get this second bracket, the x's cancel, and I get +1. This first bracket, the x's add up, and I get 2 x's and a minus 4 minus 5. Okay? So again, this answer here, this answer is really the product of two brackets, okay? Is something plus something, and the next bracket is something minus something, all right? So what is A? A is the first term, the stuff inside the square, right? If the stuff inside the brackets. So that's 2x plus 5. So I need to write A here in square brackets. 2x minus 5, 2x minus 5, okay? Then what is B? B is this thing in the other square brackets. Now you have to make sure you could use the difference of two squares. These two squares here, between them is a minus sign. So that is to make sure you could actually use the formula. If you had a plus sign here, you could not do this. If you have a plus sign there, you had to essentially multiply it out and add them, okay? If you had a plus sign between these two brackets here. But we have a minus sign, so we could use the difference of two squares. B is 3x minus 1, and again, 3x minus 1, right? So what would we have? This first bracket, I have the add the x terms. 2x plus 3x is 5x. And minus 5 plus minus 1 is minus 6. This bracket now, I have 2x minus 3x. So that's minus x. And I have minus 5. Now this minus by minus is a plus, right? So I could rewrite the question for you all to see it here. Remove the square brackets. This 3x becomes negative 3x, and this minus 1 becomes plus 1. Okay, then I could collect together like terms so you all could see it. 2x plus 3x, and this is 2x minus 3x, right? So the 23 is 5, the minus 5 minus 1 is 6. 2 minus 3 is minus 1, minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4. Now you really wouldn't leave your answer like that, right? What you do, 5x minus 6, you factorize the minus 1. You put this in brackets here into x plus 4. If you factorize minus 1 from these two terms here, you get minus 1 into x plus 4. Now, when you multiply this, you could leave your answer as minus 1 into 5x minus 6 into x plus 4. You could leave it like that, but I think a better way is to multiply. Yes, to factorize the minus 1 for me and multiply it by everything in first bracket. So what we'll get is 6 minus 5x all by x plus 4. Okay, this looks a lot easier than this answer here. 5x minus 6 by minus x minus 4. This is not a good answer to write. That's not a good final answer. You could factorize things. So we factorize the negative one and we multiply by the first bracket, and we get two brackets with few negative signs. It's easier to substitute and so on, right? So this is a proper final answer there after you factorize. Always remember to try and factorize your answers, okay? So again, you know, we have the same technique here. Could just copy it and paste it. All right, and we could just simplify it. We have the 3x minus 1 here and here. I have the 2x minus 3 as the second element in both brackets, right? Right, so this is A, 3x minus 1, this is B. So A plus B by A minus B. What we could do, remove the brackets. This negative sign here must be multiplied by everything in this square bracket. So I'll get negative 2x plus 3. I just rearrange terms now. Right? So the 2x comes here, the minus 2x comes here. What we do next? This is 5x. Minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4. And 3x minus 2x, this is just x. Minus 1 plus 3 is plus 2. Okay, and that's the answer. The answer is typically 3 to 4 lines. Okay. This is a lot better than expanding the brackets and collecting like terms and simplifying, because that's easily 7 lines. But if you could split the difference of 2 squares, you could use it. Right? So let's do a review. All right. Suppose we have 2 brackets, A plus B by C plus D. We let X be A plus B. So the original problem is really X by C plus D. Now, we multiply X by C and X by D. This is what the distributive law states. The third line is application of distributive law. But what is X? X is A plus B. So we write A plus B by C and A plus B by D. And then when we multiply C by A by C by B, this is the distributive law being applied again. Then we get these 4 terms here. And we were doing that in lecture 5 when we were multiplying these 2 brackets here, right? We did a lot of that. Both squares, we're multiplying 2 brackets, and when the brackets are different, okay? We did a lot of this last time. So this is just a review of what we had there. But sometimes it may be possible to go in a reverse direction, right? So I actually have a product of 2 brackets, which is factorized form. But the last line, I have 4 terms. Is it possible to go in a different direction? So I could say, well, you know, example 8, right? What if somebody asks me, you know, they say, okay, given this AC, BC, AD, BD, given this here, and they ask to factorize it, what could we do? We could actually go in a reverse direction. So the first step is to pick a letter and see if how common is it, okay? So if I see AC, BC, AD, BD, there is no one letter common to all these 4 terms, okay? So where do you pick a letter, A in this case, and A is common, D. D is common to these first 2 terms, AD and BD. So you might have to rearrange these 4 terms here. Pick a letter, right? I pick D. And I write all the terms with D in it. So I have AD, BD, and then the other terms AC, BC. Now I'll put a space here so you wouldn't get confused in terms of being jumbled up. Now this first term, right? What is the common letter? Could we factorize the first 2 terms? D is common, sorry. So we factorize D, we get D into A plus B. Is it possible to get something by A plus B here in the other 2 terms? Yeah. those two terms are C terms, so you could factorize the C to get A plus B. So these two terms alone here, factorize it, you will get this, okay? And now if you notice, I have A plus B and A plus B, I could factorize again, right? A plus B is a term that is common to both sides of this plus sign. So I could say A plus B is a factor of D. I could put D in brackets here and C. Right? I did this product here, I pull out A plus B. So now I have A plus B by D plus C. And I could, instead of D plus C, I could write C plus D. So I have the original question, right? This kind of factorization here is slightly different because there is no one letter or number common to all the terms. You have to group the terms together, okay? And this is what we call factorization by grouping, essentially, right? Or another term for it is partial factorization, where there's no single letter common to all four terms. But two terms have a letter in common and other terms have a letter in common, and we factorize partially, and then we factorize again. You see the step here, A plus B is common to D and D by A plus B, and A plus B is common to C by A plus B. A plus B is common to these two terms here. So you could pull it out, you could factorize. If you pull out A plus B, you'll be left with D and C with a plus sign between them, okay? So what if I say factorize the following expression and I give you these four terms here? How you know is a partial factorization question is two things to tip you off. One is an even number of terms. So you have four terms here, four is an even number. If you have 6 terms, 8 terms, that's kind of give you an idea that this might be a partial factorization question. The second and the more important way to recognize it is they told you to factorize, but you don't have any letter that is common to all 4 terms, right? So like P only exists the first term and the third term. R only exists in the first 2 terms. S only exists in the last 2 terms, and Q exists in the second term and the fourth term. So there's no one letter that's common to all the terms. If that is the case and they ask you to factorize, then it's a partial factorization question. So what to do, pick a letter and group 2 terms or more with that letter, factorize like how we do here, and then see if you can factorize again, right? Try this question. So I already have 2 R terms next to each other here, okay? What I'll do, let me rearrange it differently to show you how it doesn't matter, right? Let me pick P terms. I just randomly pick in a letter, okay? I pick in P. I have a PR term here and a PS term here. So let me rearrange it here. I'll say PR plus PS plus QR plus QS, right? So I took the PS from the third term and I put it second. The QR becomes the third term and the QS are there. I'm just picking a letter that I want to use. So I pick P. The next step is I want to factorize these 2 terms here. So those 2 terms are P into R plus S. Okay, so this is my first step. I factorize these 2 terms here. So I have P into R plus S. The second 2 terms could also factorize to get a R plus S. Okay, I could actually just say Q into R plus S, right? I factorize these 2 terms here. Now I have 2 terms. I don't have 4 terms again, I have 2 terms. This is one term here, A by B, and there's a next term here, A by B. I have 2 terms and both of them have a R plus S in common. So I could actually say R plus S into what is left? This is a r plus s. I will need to multiply by p to get the r plus s by p. And the r plus s, I need q. Right? So by distributive law, the first bracket r plus s by p is this first term here. And the second term is r plus s by q. That's what this is, yes. Okay. So I hope you all understand this example here. Try example 10. Okay, pick a letter and factorize that letter from two terms. The other pair of terms would have the same stuff in brackets, like how you see here, r plus s, r plus s. That's how you know you're going right. You can start with any letter, it don't matter, right? What I would do is pick a letter, okay? So I have C, F, D, G. Just pick a letter. So let me pick C. C is the smallest letter, right? Alphabetically the smallest here. So what I'll do, I'll just put C and the CF and the CG together like this. All right, so CF, take the CG, put it next to it. I have the DG and the DF. That's fine. I want to factorize these two terms here. So rewrite the question. And this is C is common. Right? So this is C into F plus G. Now, it might look a little bit confusing here. The order depends on the order you write them. But what I suggest you do, if I have F plus G in brackets here, write F plus G in brackets here. Okay, take this and write it here immediately. Okay, and figure out what you need. What you need in front of this bracket to get these two terms here, these two terms up here. So I need something here by F plus G to get these two terms here. Now, but something by F is minus DF. What by F is negative DF? Wouldn't it have to be negative first? Negative by a positive is negative. So I need a minus sign, right? And something by F is DF. What by F is DF? We have one possibility for that. That's D. And then we check, is negative D by G negative DG? Yeah. And we're done. We've done that part. So I have two terms now, and both of them have a F plus G that is common. So again, we rewrite the question. Factorize the F plus G. So you know you take it out from here and here. If you take out the F plus G, where you left with? Left with C minus D, right? And you just write the F plus G on the outside there. So this is the correct answer. And this answer, you could state it different ways, right? Multiplication is commutative. The order don't matter. So I could rearrange the terms, right? And also inside the brackets, I could rearrange the terms if I wanted, but it's better to have negative terms second, and it's better to have it in alphabetical order. So there's F before G, C becomes before D, right? I could write it as this, but it doesn't make it right or wrong, which bracket you have first, okay? So try these questions, say 11 and 12, okay? Very similar, just try to get the practice, right? Of doing partial factorization, because that's what this topic is. Have fun with it. So for the example 11, let me pick C, okay? Just to be different, right? I'm picking C as the letter to start factorizing. So I'll take plus C, Y, and put it here, like that, right? So I just rearrange the terms. CY comes here, and I have a DY, and I have a negative DY, negative DX. What I need to do is factorize the first two terms. So this is C into X plus Y, okay? Just don't even bother looking at what these two terms are any sense of, don't really focus on it too much. You get a X plus Y, right? just write the x plus y here, write it there, and figure out what you need in front of it. What do you need in front of it? You need a sign and a letter, okay? What by x is minus dx? Think about it. Will it be positive? Will it be negative? What will it be? Positive x here, but when I multiply some question mark, when I multiply by again negative dx, immediately you all could see that that is minus d. Minus d by x is minus dx, minus d by y is minus dy. That's how you really should do it. And then now I have two terms. If I make this x plus y disappear, right? If I take it out, I'm left with c minus d. Clearly, the brackets was common to both terms. So I could write the brackets and just put in, oops, right? Right, I could just put in the brackets now. So the first two terms, c is, let me see, that's not, all right? Let me rewrite this now, all right? So if I take out the x plus y, which is common, I'll be left with c minus d, all right? So I could write the x minus y and then put that in there like this. Okay, so you're factorizing the x plus y. What would you be left with? Take out the x plus y from this term, you're left with a c. And take out the x plus y from this term, you're left with a minus d. And just factorize again. Okay. What I want to do is pick some letter, any letter, right? I'll go with P. P being the alphabetically smallest letter, okay? So this here comes here, like that. So what I did was the PT, the negative PT, I put it here, and the positive QT, I put it third term, right? Now with the first two terms, I just factorize there, right? And I'm not even going to worry about what I have off. I'm not going to even worry about these two terms. I got S minus T, I'm gonna write it here, question mark, S minus T, okay? So something has to exist between these two brackets here, a sign and maybe a number or a letter, okay? So you ask any question, what by S is one of these two terms here, the QS, right? So I have a positive S here, but I need negative QS. What should I put here? Positive, positive S, I need negative. So clearly, I need a negative sign, right? I need negative something. Negative something by S is negative QS. What by S is QS? This is not too bad, right? Minus Q. Okay, so I need a minus Q here. Now you rewrite the question and the S minus T, right? You take it away from the terms. What you're left with? If I delete that S minus T, I left with P minus Q, right? So let me put brackets around the P minus Q and put the term I deleted in front of it. And that's it, I'm done. Partial factorization questions is usually 4 lines, maybe 5 lines for hard ones, right? So I saw some people get this, assuming you all understand what I did here, okay? So try these 2 extra examples. Now we are kind of how to deal with numbers. It doesn't make it that much more complicated once you factorize properly. So pick a letter, combine, collect the two terms with a letter on one side and factorize as best as you could. The stuff you get in brackets, you write that a second time and you try to figure out what you need between the brackets. When you're done with that, you factorize again. No fun with that. I'm gonna pick, for this one, I'm gonna pick T. I'm gonna pick T, right? So I'm gonna, now it's kind of better to put the positive term before the negative term, right? So, okay. I rearrange the expression. I just want the two T terms, but I want the positive T term before the negative T term. So I take 2QT and I put in minus QT, and I just write the other terms. The other terms is positive dot minus 3QS. Right, so let me make sure I didn't change the question. 2QT minus 2PT, 3PS minus 3QS. All right. Then, the first step is to factorize the first two terms, right? So what I'll do, what is common to 2QT and 2PT? Well, 2T. 2T is common, and I'll get Q minus P, right? So the first two terms, when I factorize it, the HCF is 2 by T. So I pull out 2T and I get Q minus P. Without even watching these two terms here, I immediately gonna write question mark, right? Q minus P. Okay. What do I need here? I have to look at what I need to get and what I have. So I have Q, but I need negative 3Q up here. So obviously, I need a negative sign, right? So negative by positive is negative Q. This is the Q term I'm looking at. But I have Q, I need a 3 and a S. So I need 3S, right? So let me check it. 3S by Q is 3QS, and there's a negative there. 3S by P is 3PS. A negative by a negative is a positive, right? So that's good. Now, when you rewrite the terms, there's two terms you have. There's two terms you have. Write what you get when you leave out the brackets. So I leave out the brackets and I get that there. So let me put brackets around this. This is essentially what I have if I take out the Q minus P. I have two terms, one term and two terms. This term is 2T by something, and this is 3S by something. If I factorize this something, I'll get 2T minus 3S. And what is the something? Something is that. Okay? Q minus P. And that's it. I'm done there.
So I'll check the back minds. I send the answer in the chat for number 13, but the signs off. I have like P minus Q and TS minus 2T.
Yeah. So let me show you what happens, right? Let me show you what happens there. It's the same thing, but you mightn't be convinced it's the same thing. What if I multiply if I put 1 in front of everything, right? 1. Yeah. So you agree these two terms is the same two terms multiplied by 1, right? You all agree, right? Putting 1 doesn't change anything because you're multiplying by 1. If I change 1 into 1 is negative 1 by negative 1, Agreed? Negative 1 by negative 1 is 1, right? Sure. If I multiply all these things, 4 things here, I'll get back the same thing up here, not so? And you just have to rearrange it now. You just rearrange it. You take this negative 1 here and you put it by this one. Remember 3 by 2 is 2 by 3. It don't matter the order you multiply them. 5 by 6 is 6 by 5. If I have 3 by 10 by 9, it don't matter how I multiply them. That's 3 by 10 by 9. I could say 9 by the 3, then the 10. Okay, the order not important in multiplication. Now this negative 1 by q minus p, that's essentially what you have. You have p minus q, right? And the negative 1 by the 2t minus 3s is the 3s minus 2t. See that?
Good.
Right? So when you when you see both brackets have terms back for front, it means it's still correct. That I think that fries some people's brains there. Right? That's why I say it don't matter what just two terms you start with. It really don't matter, right? But I know most people will leave the km and look for either a k or a m term. Like if I look at these two fun terms here, it's probably best to start with the two k terms. I already have two k terms already. So, you know, try to factorize the first two terms. What is the HCF for 6km and 3k? Right? That's what I want to find. Definitely the k, but not just k, the 3k, right? The 3k is the HCF. So 3k by 2m minus t. I just factorize the first two terms. 3 by 2 is 6, k by m is km, 3 by minus 1 is minus 3, k by t is kt, right? Without even looking at the second one, right? I could write the brackets here and try to figure out what I need. So I need a st, positive st. But what do I have? I have a negative t. So this can't be positive. This can't be positive here, because if this is positive, positive by a negative is a negative. I need a positive. So this has to be minus. Furthermore, I need a s by t, but all I have is a t. So I kind of need a s there. And then you have to check it. S by 2m is 2ms, negative 2ms. So the negative by positive is negative. Negative by negative is a positive. S by t is just t, right? So then you just, you know, rewrite the question and take out the brackets. Take out the brackets, delete the brackets, and see what you're left with. I'm left with that. So I'm gonna put this in brackets now. I'm gonna put this stuff, when I delete the brackets on two terms here, I'm left with this. So put brackets around this, and the brackets that I deleted, just put it in front, and you're done. That's the answer. Partial factorization questions is usually 3 lines, maybe 4 lines, right? I'll give you one more for homework, right? But you know, I wanted to teach something else, but I'll just give this out and finish class here. Okay.
So,
Hold on, huh?
oh, sorry.
We'll try this for homework here.